All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board of Education. Ms. Rochelle, could you call roll, please?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Here.
Ms. Luong?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Chalam-Turla?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
And Mr. Clark?
Here.
All are present.
All right, with that being said, we will go through our land acknowledgement.
As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Nishanan and Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters, where we work and learn.
We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nishanan ancestral tribes, the Esto, Notomuse, and Nisim Pewanan to the north.
And the Miwok ancestral tribes, the Amachumne, Consumne, Halapune, and Mokalumne to the south along the Great Sacramento River system since time immemorial.
We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built was once flourishing with natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of these indigenous communities.
We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that have impacted these communities and recognize the resilience of their descendants who continue to thrive today.
In our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement, we commit to supporting, respecting, and honoring their culture, traditions, and lifeways.
We pledge to work together for the evolving vision of the Miwok and Nishanan, especially for all future generations.
All right, with that, if you can please stand for a pledge. All right, with me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. A broadcast statement and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. The recording will be cablecast as replays on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. The Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask the same in return. If any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, and/or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. Per the Brown Act, is not allowed to enter into a two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. So with that, we'll go into D, Secondary School Spotlight, Cordova High School.
Yeah, so I'm going to invite Cordova High School. This is the first time the board and our community is seeing this on our agenda. It took an amazing group of young people to be the first, right, to do this. So we're really excited for you to be here. And thank you for the staff from Cordova High to be here to support their young people. The idea behind the Secondary School Spotlight is throughout this year, we're going to hear from each of our secondary schools 2 times. Cordova is obviously first, and we're really proud to welcome them. We're going to be focusing on, or the students are going to be focusing on in real time what's happening at their school. They're going to be focused on academics, the arts, athletics, and then school culture or social justice topics that are happening at their school. The idea behind these presentations is that our board and our community can see all of the incredibly engaged and vibrant activities that are happening on our campuses to help to increase student connectedness, both in the classroom, on the stage, on the field, and in the community. And so I'm really excited. I see Cordova, they are all ready to go. I even know that Eveline is part of the presentation. Are you going to go down with your crew, or are you going to speak from the dais? Okay, so you might want to do that because I think you're about to start. So I just wanted to kind of tee this up, as these are going to be coming in every meeting, and then we'll hear from this crew probably sometime in January as we get through all the secondary schools. So be ready. Did you know you had to do this twice? So now you do. So yeah, all right. This is our first practice round. So, all right, you guys take it away.
Good evening, Board. The Co-Activities Director, Mr. Wexstein, and class representatives from ASB are here to present student life at Cordova High School. Starting off with academics. Students at CHS score well above average in subjects such as English language arts, math, English learning, progress, and college and career. All while engaging in activities such as, if we look at the images, FCCLA, FFA, BizTech, and HOSA. FCCLA competed at state and nationals. FFA competed in categories including agronomy, and BizTech participated in an internship at the Safe Credit Union. Our HOSA team is the patient care program that attends all sporting events as med staff. Moving on to academics in Cordova High, we are an IB school, so the International Baccalaureate Program is an opportunity to challenge students academically while also preparing for college and future careers and life beyond school. There are 3 IB paths, which are the diploma program, the certificate program, and the career-related program. This year, Cordova brings IB Psychology as one of our new IB classes, and in this class, students are learning and discussing about how the human brain thinks and human behavior. At Cordova, we also have the award of Lancer of the Month, which we receive 50 to 60 nominations from teachers, and this award is awarded for academic excellence and outstanding behavior to students.
Hello, Board. Now moving on to athletics at Cordova. As depicted in the pictures, cross country, we have had a few record breaks. Leslie Rojas and Daniel Insco, 12th and 11th grade respectively, have broken this current CHS record for the 4K race. Also included is pictures from our football team who have recently competed against Mesa Verde. Now the Spirit Committee. This committee focuses on bringing back our school spirit through chants and themes at our sports games. The Barracks has been chosen as our name for the student section inspired by the London Household Cavalry.
And I will be talking about our VAPA, our Visual and Performing Arts classes. So first we have our ceramics, our drawing and painting, and our 3D design. These are our visual art classes where students focus on creativity and hands-on learning. As you can see in that bottom right-hand corner, that pictures a student working on one of their ceramic pieces, which then are showcased at local Rancho Cordova art shows and at the Sacramento County Fair. We also have our drama and theater program. That's a typo on the screen. Their fall play is actually titled Almost Maine. They have multiple sold-out performances, including Hadestown, Mean Girls, and Harry Potter. And then we have our marching band and color guard, also known as the Big Red Music Machine, directed by Mr. Sims. They are known for bringing the smiles and the applause to many of the crowds during the football games, the rallies, and the parades which they perform at.
Hello, Board. I will be discussing on culture. In this topic, I will be discussing on prep rallies, club rush, freshman orientation, and premiere day.
Now about our back-to-school rally. At Cordova High School, student government kicks off the school year with a back-to-school rally. There was performances by cheer, band, and color guard. Staff also commented that this was by far one of the most enjoyable rallies.
Moving on to Club Rush. Club Rush is an exciting event held on campus at the beginning of the academic school year. So the primary goal of Club Rush is to attract new members and inform students about the diverse opportunities available to them. So during this event, students can explore and discover communities that align with their values and interests, meaning during this event, students can explore their interests, meet new peers with similar passions. Moving on to orientation. Freshman orientation is an event that occurs prior to the start of high school. So freshman orientation occurs 2 days before the school year begins, aimed at helping new students assimilate to high school. So its goal is to help new freshmen assimilate to high school life. So during this event, freshmen learn about campus rules, meet staff and classmates, receive schedules, and ID cards. So usually during this event, we have tours led by Link Crew, along with activities led also by Link Crew.
And now about Premiere Day. 2 days before school starts, students receive schedules, purchase PE clothes, beer items, and Cordova merchandise. Students are also given the opportunity to explore campus and locate their classes ahead of time. Freshmen get a preview of what Cordova has to offer, helping them feel connected to their new school community. Parents are also able to participate, experiencing the campus and school environment alongside their students.
And that is it for our presentation. These were some few of the things that we have done here at Cordova, and we're still hoping to do even more. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you so much. Are there, don't leave. Are there any questions from the board? If they want to ask the students? I do. Your Club Rush, how many clubs were out there?
We had about 25 to 30 clubs.
Okay, is this a one-day event or two?
This is a one-day event, yes.
One-day event, okay. And it happens during lunch, I would imagine?
Yes, both lunches, A and B lunch. And we have a lot of students come out and see the new clubs. And there's always new signups for new clubs that are being created. So right. They get to see a variety of last year's clubs and then New Year. So
what if they didn't sign up or they couldn't sign up that day? Are they able to sign up later?
Yes. Club Rush is just so that the students get an idea of what clubs there are on campus. But most of the clubs have a social media page, so they could always follow. And then to apply for a club or show interest for one, they have about like a month always to see if they want to join it or not.
Okay, and when you say apply, so I take it it's not sign up and it's not automatic. They've got to
some
go
clubs
through
are sign up, and then some clubs like CSF, the California Scholarship Federation, do have requirements to be in the club. So it depends.
Okay, awesome.
But there's always a club for everyone.
All right. Well, any other questions?
I want to have a question. When's your next cross-country race?
Our next cross-country race is this Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are.
This is on the same Club Rush one. You know, if you guys, I know sometimes you look for some speakers to come and meet them. Either it's a Flex Hour in Vista. I don't know which time you guys meet. There is a 2-letter guy, YK, in case you want to reach out to me to come and, share some energy. I love to. I can be a cheer girl, cheer boy kind of thing.
Yes, I got Mr. Clark over here showed interest that I should send out emails and that should be going on now. Yes.
We want
Absolutely. Yeah, let the board know.
Yes,
we are a very photogenic board, so if you guys don't mind,
me too.
We'll come down and take a picture with you all and send you on your way. How about that?
Did just want to make one quick comment.
Sure.
I did want to commend the Spirit group because you guys brought it last week. I mean, we had more students than I have seen in years in that student section. So, and that was really because of all the work that you guys were really putting into that. And The social media pages have been like really active and putting out the information. Games for all the sports have been covered, as far as commending the athletes and putting out the information. So it's a heavy lift. And all of everyone who's been participating in that, like it's a marked difference between what we've seen in like past years. I mean, it was incredible. So
Yes,
congratulations to you guys.
It did take a lot of hard work, and I'd like to give a thank you to Ms. Lorette and then the other RC-SAC members and the coaches at Cordova High that helped us make this. Thank you.
Awesome.
Photo time.
Picture time.
I understand a photo is in order.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
if I could have you guys stand up, and that is a great background. And then just kind of come up here at the front. And then okay. Here and fabulous. All right, does anybody want to? Okay, then you're released. All right, thank you so much.
All right, with that, we will go to item 5, reporting out a closed session.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. Item 6, adoption of the agenda.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse, second by Board Member Chalanchella. Ms. Rochelle?
Yes. Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalanchurla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
5-0, motion passes.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Item 7, agenda consent.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse,
I'll second.
second by Board Member Larrett. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalanchurla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Item 8, special presentation.
We have a couple,
Superintendent.
before that, I'd love to introduce a couple people on our consent agenda. No problem. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Upon voting on the consent agenda, we have 2 new teammates to introduce. I'd like to invite Craig Rouse to the podium. Craig is, we're pleased to announce Craig is our next Executive Director of Facilities Development. And I saw some of the facilities teammates over here already grilling him. Good work. Appreciate you guys. Craig began his career in the construction trades as a carpenter before advancing to superintendent, overseeing multiple facets of building construction. After obtaining his general contractor's license, he led commercial, industrial, public works, and high-end residential projects. He later transitioned into construction management, focusing on school bond programs and modernizing campuses across California. Craig has held multiple leadership roles, including director and later vice president of operations for a construction management firm supporting school districts. He has overseen large-scale projects such as the $150 million forensic reconstruction of the Jackson Rancheria Casino and led bond program initiatives for the Kern Community College District. He also served as the Director of Facilities for Bakersfield College. Most recently, Craig was the Senior Director of Facilities Maintenance and Operations at Rockland Unified School District, where he managed day-to-day operations, DSA projects, capital improvements, and routine restricted maintenance. During his tenure, he successfully delivered the district's newest elementary school. With a rich blend of professional experience, technical expertise, and a passion for excellence, Craig is well positioned to make the positive impact in his new leadership role in FCUSD. Welcome, Craig, to the team.
Good evening, Board President Clark, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Swanson. Boy, I'm excited and honored for this opportunity to be able to serve as part of the facilities team here at Folsom Cordova Unified School District. Now, I know I have big shoes to fill as Matt goes off into retirement. But boy, I feel very fortunate to be joining a very talented and experienced team within facilities. And with that, I'm very confident that we will continue to deliver successful facility projects that will support our students, staff, and the community. And once again, I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
All right, one more introduction and coming to us. Oh, yay.
Wow.
We only hired one of you, my budget guy. So coming to us from the Aloha State, Folsom Cordova is pleased to announce Dave Bird as the Executive Director of Human Resources. With 28 years of experience in public education and a commitment to helping all students learn and grow, Dave brings a dynamic blend of leadership and expertise to our communities. His experience includes the Director of School Improvement in Elk Grove Unified, principal at both Roseville High School and Monterey Trail High School, and a teacher and coach in Elk Grove Unified. Through all these experiences, Dave has demonstrated a passion for student learning and supporting the people that help students thrive. I am honored and excited to join the team at FCUSD working in human resources, says Dave. My goal is to collaborate with certificated staff and classified employees to build system-wide connectedness, foster continuous improvement, and make Folsom Cordova a place where people want to start and finish a fulfilling career. Dave holds a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and the Sociology of Law from UC Davis and a Master's of Education from Western Governors University. He started his teaching career at Cordova High School, go Lancers, has lived in Folsom for 30 years and raised 3 daughters, all of them proud Folsom Bulldog graduates. With his wife, Heather, join us in welcoming Dave to Team FCUSD as we embark on a journey of developing people, labor, and culture. Welcome, Dave. And wife.
Hey, thanks. Can you hear me?
Go for it.
Are you able to hear me here?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I just want to take a minute to tell you and Board President Clark and the entire Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board, on behalf of my wife, Heather, and I both, we're grateful to be joining the team and be part of what you're building in Folsom Cordova. We realize it's just one job, but we're a team together. As you said, we've lived in the community for over 30 years. We've raised 3 daughters through the community and through Folsom Cordova schools, and it's an honor. It's truly an honor to serve the community where we live. I'm looking forward to getting back home. I'm looking forward to meeting everyone in person and getting after it. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Right. Thank you so much. And
you're welcome. I think, Dave, real quick, is there family in the audience? I heard a loud yay. Who's that?
I don't know.
You can't see you.
Control what happens back there on the mainland. If I've got family in the audience, then that's them. And they haven't told me that they're there.
Dave, your mom and dad are here, by the way.
Yeah. Oh man, you got to be kidding me. That's awesome.
Your mom has a shirt on that says "He was so spoiled." I don't know. So
yeah. To that. Hey, that's my mom and dad, also proud residents of the Folsom community. So awesome that they're in the audience. That doesn't surprise me. They're great champions of my career. So thank you, Mom and Dad. Love you.
Perfect. Welcome, team.
Right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Welcome, David.
Thank you.
All right. Superintendent, looks like we have something really special to present.
Oh, we do. We have a special presentation. I'd like to invite Dr. Ayanna Pease to the lectern. They're being delivered to you right now. While this is being delivered, I want to commend Dr. Pease on her innovative and persistent approach in making sure that we honor and celebrate our staff. She has a passion in making sure that our teammates feel seen and recognized, and this is something that was born from her, and I'm really excited to welcome her for this presentation. Dr. Pease.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Clark, Superintendent Swanson, trustees, and members of the community. Tonight, I am honored to share Deeply Rooted Celebrating FCUSD Legacy Employees. In FCUSD, this is more than recognition. It connects directly to our performance targets around system-wide connectedness. Legacy employees represent the very definition of connectedness. They were once our students, shaped by FCUSD, and chose to return as staff to give back. This cycle of belonging and return strengthens our system and directly supports our performance target of system-wide connectedness. By celebrating their contributions, we reinforce the culture of stability, continuity, and community pride. So who are we celebrating? We are recognizing employees who attended or graduated from FCUSD schools and are now serving in any role across our district. Their lived experience and connection brings a sense of authenticity that represents our workforce. So whether they're teachers, classified staff, or leaders, they embody what it means to invest back into our students and our community. Why this matters, legacy employees, they are more than just role models. They're proof that FCUSD develops leaders, nurtures potential, and fosters belonging. Their presence deepens relationships with students and families because they truly reflect the community that they're serving. This is a powerful driver for retention. Employees who feel connected and valued stay and thrive in our system. Their stories also demonstrate how our performance targets, especially belonging and connectedness, are lived out in real ways. So this is our roots in numbers. As of August 21st, there were 110 employees system-wide that are legacy employees. As of the 2nd, it was 115. These employees span over 27 schools across our system, and we even have some school board members and executive cabinet members who are legacy employees. So when we combine the number of years of service collectively, it's over 900 years of service across, all of our employees combined. Again, these numbers tell a story of a multi-generational commitment to FCUSD, proof that our roots and our value of continuity. So to honor our legacy employees, we are providing a deeply rooted recognition pin as visible reminders of their impact. We are also planning to share stories across newsletters, social media, district events, and ensuring that their contributions are celebrated publicly. This recognition is more than symbolic. It strengthens belonging and reminds staff that their long-term commitments matter. Lastly, legacy employees embody our district vision. They connect our past, present, and future. Their contributions show how valuing people leads to pride, retention, and long-term investment in Folsom Cordova. By honoring them, we create a culture where every role is valued and every employee sees themselves as part of the larger story. So as we say, our legacy employees remind us that the story of FCUSD is still being written by those who once walked our very halls. So if I could have Board Member Lorette, Board Member Lofthouse, and Dr. Huber come up, we have something for you. Were there are there any questions from the board?
No questions, but I just want to congratulate the team for this idea. I think this is a really wonderful idea. And I assume you're going to have little ceremonies at the school sites to give it to the teachers and the staff as well.
The sky's the limit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that when I was actually discussing with the superintendent during our one-on-one, and I said, this is such an exciting program to honor the commitment that fellow graduates have for this district, that they came back here to be a part of FCUSD. And that, hopefully some of the students will see this and be inspired to say, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come back someday as a teacher, as a yard supervisor, as someone who works in IT, to give back to the community as well, because I want my pin, because those are pretty cool pins. I'm jealous that I can't get one. But no, those are really, they're great. And it's such a great message that's being sent. I was even thinking, I almost feel like you should have an annual reception where all of the individuals who are part of our legacy come together for just a reception or something like that. I think would be really cool.
Thank you, sir.
But good job.
Yeah. Mr. President, I echo the great thing. I think maybe I'm going to sign up coming summer for adult school to get some graduation so that I can join the alum. Yeah. This is awesome, though, but I want to congratulate.
Sorry, it's an elite club, okay?
Okay. I want to, wholeheartedly congratulate my 3 colleagues who are sitting here and all those 110, team members with the FCSD. That's an awesome thing you guys did. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Dr. Peace, for your work in this, and congratulate my 2 colleagues. You never know that there may be other students and or former folks that were in the district that may sit on this board. So you never know. But thank you again for your work. I appreciate that. Any other comments from the board?
I just want to say thank you so much. This is such an honor. Honestly, I think when you're like an elementary school level, you're not really thinking about that, but it was like, I was even talking to one of the football players the other day at Cordova High, and he was talking about how he wanted to get his credential, come back and coach and things like that. So I think it really does matter, these programs and things like that, because they can see themselves in those positions. So thank you so much for the wonderful idea. I really appreciate it. I'm very honored. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Peace.
Sounds good. All right. Moving on, we will go on to item 9, public comment. Time will be given to the speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Rochelle.
Okay. We have 3 public comments. First one is Faith, followed by Faith.
No, Faith or Earl. You said Faith followed by Faith.
It says Faith.
Oh, 2 Faiths.
Faith, can you come on up to the podium?
Oh, there's just one. She only has one.
Faith Smith.
There's 2.
Faith and then Earl, sorry. Faith was typed twice.
Got it.
Hi, my name is Faith, as we just established. I'm a student at Folsom High, I was, until recently I pulled out. My dad had a meeting with Superintendent Swanson recently, and you said, "Why did you pull her out? She was doing so well." How would you know that I was doing so well if you didn't answer the emails I sent you? I think I sent you quite a few emails, and you didn't answer any of them. My dad sent you emails, you didn't answer them when it meant the most. We've been coming to these board meetings for over a year now. The first one was May 2nd, 2024. 2025, it's September now. It's been a while, and I've been telling you about what's going on and me wanting to come back, but I haven't seen too much happen. You say I was doing well. How would you know I was doing well? Well, you can't, so you can't really say that. I was in the jazz choir. I didn't get to experience being in the jazz band playing violin. I was told I could be in C band with all the freshmen while I'm a senior. I don't know. I'm tired of asking you guys to help and you not responding or you not doing something. There's been a few things that have changed, but overall I've just kind of seen slow, not doing anything. To you guys, I'm just a student. But for me, this is my life. For me, this is my story. For me, this is my high school experience. And my high school experience was ruined before I even started. I mean, think about that. Imagine looking back on your high school years and saying, wow, I was told I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. I was retaliated against, discriminated against. I mean, a teacher spread a rumor about me to students and she's still employed? And she threw stuff at students and she's still employed. And then come to find out that's up to you guys and you guys let her still be here? I mean, that really bothers me. You guys are gonna allow that. I've already said you allow that. So you continuing to have a teacher that does those kind of things is saying, oh, we are a district that allows that stuff to happen. We allow teachers to say stuff. We allow teachers to be rude and mean and discriminate. I mean, the CDA said that she did retaliation discrimination. The CDE said that. And yet she's still here? I mean, that's really frustrating for me because that's my experience for the past 4.5 years, or almost 4.5 years. That's really frustrating. Really think about that. This is my life. This isn't just some person. You know, you look at all the stuff going on in the world and you think, wow, that person's really going through that. You can think about that here too. This is my life. You really got to think about the student and the fact that this is what they go through every day. This is what I think about. I'm just tired of telling you guys these things over and over and over again. And then when it came time for the most important thing, you did nothing. When you said you were going to do something. But turns out you didn't.
Thank you, Faith. Earl? Followed by Leah.
Board, Mr. Swanson. When we first met, Mr. Swanson, I told you I went asking around about you. There was one person that worked under your leadership. They said, oh, Mr. Swanson, he says all the great things. Don't believe it. He's just like everyone else trying to climb that ladder. I've been here every board meeting for over a year explaining. I've sent lots of emails. Mr. Reed, I met with him recently. He communicated some of the things, and I don't know if 100% sure it's true or not. But I talked to you about the jurisdiction of the teacher. Let me explain it in a different way. A Black student wants to enroll in a curricular class, and the teacher says, I don't want that student, or I can't teach that student. You're going to support that student? Why is that any different than violin? The whole year I've been telling you, I've given you the law, the ruling, and everyone has ignored that. I sent you guys the 20 reports from the students talking about in detail, Williams telling all these students that we're suing her. And those students turn around and bully Faith, and it's still ignored. I've seen some change, but it looks like a Band-Aid put over an open wound. We live in this community. We are entitled to the education in this community. You're not from Folsom. We got 2 board members that are from Folsom. I moved here, my mom was here. This is my community. Yet what I see is the school district in my community does not support us. I've even put her in community college level to prove that her, based on the CDE's assessment, she's above the level, but yet we still got no support. This is it. People think I'm coming to this board meetings because I'm going to run as a board member. No, I'm not. Why would I? Why would I?
30 seconds remaining.
I don't see the support for the kids. You guys are paid to be here. Students are not. Parents are not. So it means all this effort that I've done, I haven't been paid. I don't know if that email from Diaz is true or not, but I hope that it wasn't you that directed that permission slip. So this is it. I'm not coming to board meetings anymore. You can do what you want to do. I'm going to file my complaint and we'll just take it to court.
Thank you, Earl. Leah Freeman.
I gave Martha a packet for everyone. Is it okay if I start my comment after everyone has it? Absolutely. Okay. Hello, my name is Leah Freeman, and my son Colin is in the 11th grade at Innovations Academy at Online High School. I've provided packets for the school board members that better illustrate the issue at hand, and my comments are written on the first page. So if you'll refer to page 2, you'll see what the bell schedule was for Innovations High School until August 25th. It supports a 6-period student loan with synchronous learning with teachers from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Classes met 3 days a week with office hours for all teachers 3 to 4 days a week. During office hours, students are able to get one-on-one support from their teacher or from working in small groups. Now I'll refer to page 3. At the top of the page, you can see that my son in 8th grade of middle school had a GPA of 2.57. Below that, you see that last year in 10th grade at Innovations, he had a semester high of 3.5. This is directly because of the many hours that the vibrant, inclusive community at Innovations, through hard work, lifted him up to meet his potential. Now to page 4, please. On the 3rd week of the new school year, parents were informed that 3 of the 5 teachers at Innovations Academy Online High School were asked to leave the program due to budget concerns. These are the school's science, history, and foreign language teachers. This leaves 2 teachers to do the job of 5, teaching 14 courses each with no additional compensation. Innovations now has 2 teachers for a school that is 3 students short of being fully enrolled. In an effort to give class time to all the courses, Innovations Academy now has this schedule that gives 1 class period per class per week. Core classes will get 70 minutes a week of in-class instruction, and electives will get 30 minutes a week. Now, there are only 2 teachers available for classes and office hours, and students are at risk of not getting the additional help they need. I've highlighted in orange, onto page 5 now, please. I've highlighted in orange my son's schedule so you can see how much time he is now spending in class after the change next Monday. Compare it to the schedule that is on page 2. Students have to convert to a guided independent study style after having synchronous learning their entire educational careers, with college applications just around the corner. Not only does this pose an issue academically, but students have spent so long getting to know their teachers and have had the same ones for years. My son and his peers cried when their teachers left. Please give my son's teachers back. If he doesn't have them, he and so many others at Innovations may lose their futures because of a budget cut. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I believe that concludes our public comments for the evening. We will go on to reports of district organizations. We'll start off with our student advisory board members.
Hello. So for SAB, next week we have our first meeting at Cordova High on September 11th. And we're planning to have a very spirited and energetic welcome for the SAB members. And me and Dr. Jackson are working together to have Mr. Sims' drumline, have him perform for the SAB members, as well as posters and balloons. Addie?
And in addition, at a special new thing that we're going to try to do at next week's board meeting is I pitched the idea to Ria, who's our SAB communication specialist, to do a SAB podcast. And so I'm really excited because at next week's board meeting, we're going to go around with a little mini mic and ask students questions about what's going on at their schools and just kind of get a lay of the land, and also have students get the chance to talk about what's going on and what they're excited about. So I'm really excited to tap into student voice in that way, and hopefully we can get a video or some podcast situation from that meeting, and hopefully at future meetings as well.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to California School Employees Association.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Swanson, Rochelle. We had a productive negotiations meeting in August. Now I'm trying to remember where we're at. We were able to come to a couple tentative agreements, one of which will close out negotiations from the 23-24, 24-25 school year and left Article 8 to work through this last year for the 25-26 school year. We also came to a tentative agreement for compensation for the 25-26 school year. We're optimistic about the year and encouraged to get back into negotiations. We will be reopening in February. At the final chapter meeting of August, we were able to ratify MOUs. This is a long list. 21, 22, 23, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, 42, and side letter for medical cap. That's all I have. Have a good night.
All right, thank you, sir. Folsom Cordova Education Association.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So good evening, board, FCUSD administrators, certificated and classified staff, and community members. A warm welcome to Craig Bruce and David Bird. Our FCA staff and I would look forward to working with you both and continuing the collaborative style that we have at FCUSD in all of our areas. Tonight, I just have a few items. Firstly, all of our hard work on the pilot evaluation process over the past 2 years has finally started at 7 schools. The administration was trained this summer, and then the staff started their training this week on this new approach. It's a coaching model of instruction. As we go through the year, I will keep you updated on our progress. Part of this process is having administrations be present with staff and students, which aligns with the incentive Mr. Swanson went ahead and initiated this year as well. His vision is to have the administration get out of their offices for at least 2 days a week. We've had a little abundant enthusiasm with our administration, which added a little stress for some of our staff. But with ongoing communication and flexibility, I think that these two processes will align perfectly. Secondly, our last bargaining meeting, FCEA and FCUSD were able to agree upon a TA. Now we are waiting on the results for the ratifications of FCEA membership. I hope to announce good news at our next board meeting. Lastly, and this was an add-in, thank you to the parent who was highlighting the issue of innovations. What you may or may not know is that the same changes occurred at Walnutwood. It has been a tough 2 weeks for these 6 teachers, 3 at each site. And now we also hear about the students. I don't know what can be done, but maybe something will change. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Hey, good evening, President Clark, members of the board, Superintendent Swanson, colleagues, and members of the community. First, I want to reiterate and commend Dr. Pease for her work with the Legacy Program. That was a well-done presentation. I shared that with her personally, but that is near and dear to my heart as well. So I just want to comment on that publicly. But I'd like to share a story with you, and one that reflects the everyday challenges that some of our families face. And there's a story about a mother who I spoke with yesterday, and she started to work very early shifts in the morning, which meant that her daughter has to get to school on her own. And she shared with me, she has a hard time getting her motor started, as many of us might. But when we spoke with the family, we were confident in the supports that we were able to share with the student and the mother. And that confidence comes from the systems that are built by our Director of Behavior Intervention and Supports and his team, Mr. Scott Meyer, and the work of the attendance and due process staff. It is this strong work that has created intentional pathways that connects students to schools in meaningful ways. And these blueprints for success align with FCLA's theme this year, which is fostering supportive systems. So tonight we recognize what has already been celebrated by the state superintendent from the California Department of Education, our district, and even local media. The transformative work of Scott and his team, their efforts have bolstered, which are bolstered by community schools grants, have led to measurable improvements in attendance, especially among some of our most marginalized groups. So the site level teams that are guided by these systems have implemented innovative strategies such as the 20-day challenge, and when necessary, referrals to the attendance review boards. These just aren't innovations, they can be lifelines because of the systems that are put in place. And so there's something called the system of profound knowledge, which is by, I'm a history nerd, so a gentleman by Edward Deming. He has this system that recognizes that there's variation in systems, that systems are important, and that there's appreciation for the psychology of the people within these systems, which is the foundation of improvement science, which Scott and his team have grasped and have used, and they have a deep commitment to the connection, the relationships, and the unique needs of each students and families. And if you haven't had a chance, everyone that's paying attention, please go to the California Department of Education. Their Facebook page has a wonderful video of the presentation that they put on. So to quote Maggie Cunin, our child welfare and attendance specialist, she said, "Attendance is our most powerful innovation. The most effective strategies require presence, consistency, and hope." So great job, Scott and team. So fantastic job.
Thank you. Keith, you said the Facebook page, is it?
Yes, so the California Department of Education has a Facebook page. And there's the recorded video of Mr. Swanson was there sharing introducing our district. Very well done, sir. And Maggie shared a very heartfelt moment and shared a lot of statistics that are quite impressive and serve as a blueprint for really the state. So very well done.
Thank you so much. All right, District English Learner Advisory Committee.
No report this evening.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll go down to board committee reports.
No committees I attended since last meeting.
All right, thank you. Any other board committee? Mr. Reed?
All right. It's actually been quite a busy time since August 14th when we last met. On August 18th, I participated as a board representative on the Superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee. It was the introductory meeting of that. It was an 8-hour meeting that we had at Cordova Lane. There were about, give or take, approximately 20 members that participated on the Superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee. We spent a great deal of time listening to Sean Martin talk to us about the budget and educate us about the budget. inside and out of the budget, as well as how we're going to be analyzing the budget, as well as looking at each department and area within the district. The superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee will be going through the whole year. I think, I could be wrong, but I think there's going to be perhaps some initial recommendations in January, but the intent is for this committee to run the entire year, if I recall correctly. On August 20th, I participated on the board policy committee. We just looked at a bunch of policies that will be coming on the next board meeting. There's usually a board meeting in between when we meet and the policies getting to the board. Let's see, August 22nd, participated in the facilities committee meeting where we discussed upcoming projects, as well as the two board members on the committee, Jen and I, were basically shown the two slide decks on the facilities. The one that was actually, I believe, is on tonight that we saw, or that we're going to be seeing. And let's see, on August 27th, participated on the FCUSD and City of Rancho Cordova Facilities Partnership Conversation. This essentially served as a 2x2 between the school board and the City of Rancho Cordova, but specifically related to facilities, where we discussed the new 800 maximum school that we're looking at opening in Stone Creek neighborhood in Rancho Cordova. Where we discussed measures R&S and the funding, including upcoming projects at Cordova High, Rancho Cordova Elementary, and Cordova Villa, and discussed how the school district and the City of Rancho Cordova could potentially partner together on some of the facilities and features in the facilities, as well as potentially some upgrades in the neighborhood around those facilities at the same time. On September 3rd, I participated in the Assembly 2158 Board Ethics Training. It's a new requirement for all school board members in the state of California. So thank you to CSBA for putting that on. And then finally, this morning, I participated in the City of Folsom FCUSD 2x2 meeting at Folsom City Hall. We talked about a bunch of issues, including electronic bikes and electronic scooters, e-scooters, e-bikes. We talked about the Folsom Middle School drop-off and pick-up issues that are of concern. We talked about the Community Service Day, got an update on that, including some projects that I understand are going to take place at Folsom High during the Community Service Day. And then we also discussed planned school sites and upcoming entitlements in the Folsom Plan area, so essentially south of 50. I'd say the majority of the conversation this morning really is focused on the e-bikes and e-scooters. We had representatives from the Folsom Police Department and communications there. Our communications director was there as well. We, I think, realized that we need to do a better public relations campaign on appropriate use of e-bikes and e-scooters. Some e-bikes, actually, you need to have a driver's license for, and from what we can tell, some of the students do not have driver's licenses who are riding these types of e-bikes. There are also e-motorcycles that they said they've even seen a 12-year-old riding an e-motorcycle, which needs not only a driver's license, but needs a license plate. So we have some issues out there, and including, obviously, we're excited that students are showing their independence and getting to school. That's great. We just need to make sure that they arrive safely. And not only do they arrive safely, but that the public in vehicles don't get into any unfortunate situations with a bicycle or a scooter. So I think we're going to collaborate with the city more on that in the coming weeks. That is it for me. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Board Member Reed. Any other board committee reports?
I don't have a report, but we do have a safety committee meeting coming up on October 9th. So specifically for our students, just want to recruit some folks to our safety committee meeting. We would love to have student voice in those. So I'll get you guys, make sure you guys have the dates for that. So we just want to make sure that we have more students that are attending that because there are boots on the ground. So that's it.
Yep. Right. Thank you. And with that being said, we are going to close out our open session and head into our public hearing. Superintendent?
Yeah, this is a public hearing. Invite Dr. Huber to the lectern. This hearing is to approve the LCAP for Folsom Cordova Community Charter. The hearing is to invite the community for input.
Good evening. So this is a little bit of a corrective action on our part in terms of in previous years, Folsom Cordova Community Charter has taken its LCAP each year to its advisory council. But in terms of our partnership work with the agency that helps oversee charter schools, it came out that a best practice actually is to include that with the LCAP that we bring forward as a district-wide. So obviously that was done late spring, early summer. This coming year, FCCC will also bring their LCAP at the same time, but we're just bringing it forward now to correct that. So just some highlights from their LCAP. FCC improved student outcomes this year, increasing academic, mental health supports, and expanded family engagement opportunities, and ensured teacher quality through professional growth. Some of their academic highlights this year was students increased ELA proficiency by 10.2 points in English and improved math proficiency by 16 points this year, matching and exceeding some state levels. Subgroups also showed, subgroups such as our Hispanic students, our low income, and students with disabilities showed notable growth in those areas as well. Also in the CASP, the California Science Test this year, scores rose by 2.6%. Also this year, assessment participation, we do get assessed by the state of California on how many kids actually take the exam, exceeded the 95% target for the first time, I want to say in over 5 years that we exceeded that target. Increased program services, parent and student engagement. We had more workshops for parents, field trips, and family events at the school. We expanded services in terms of hiring a part-time intervention teacher and a mental health specialist to be at the school for social emotional needs. And there were also targeted supports added, as in supplemental math and reading curriculum, as well as a new math and reading diagnostic screener for students. So those are the highlights from the LCAP from Folsom Cordova Community Charter.
Right, thank you, sir. We will now open it up to the public. Any comments? All right, hearing none, we will go ahead and close out this public hearing and open back up to open session. And we'll go to item 12, discussion action item, Superintendent.
Hello. This is to approve the LCAP for the Folsom Community Charter. We just did the hearing, and now Jim already gave you a nice sneak peek to this.
Yes, absolutely. We will entertain any comments or questions from the board. Hearing none from the public, I would imagine. I didn't see anything. We'll bring it back to the board. I'll entertain a motion on it.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Laird.
I can second.
Second by our student board member, Hattie. All right. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Turla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Right, thank you, ma'am. Item B, approved 24-25 unaudited actuals financial report. Actional revenues and expenditures reported on the annual state budget forms, general fund, and other funds for the state of California. Mr. Sean.
Go for it, Mr.
All
Martin.
right. Well, it's a little anticlimactic at this point, but we've actually closed the books for 24-25. And so I think we've already moved on to 25-26 and beyond. But in the next few slides here, we're just going to give you guys kind of an update of where we finished the year and provide any answers to any questions you guys have. Again, unaudited actuals is actually the more or less reconciliation or closing up of the books. This is all for the 24-25 activity. This is a very quick highlighted summary of what you're actually approving, which is the SACS document package that you received in the PDF version. And so this will then go on to the county office, who will review and then hopefully approve our closing of the books. Throughout the document, you will see two areas. So you're looking at unaudited actuals, which is more or less the closing of 24-25, and the adopted budget that the board approved back in June 18th. And so the information is relevant to those two source areas. And so this is just kind of a comparison of what we estimated back when we adopted the budget for 25-26. We estimated what we were going to close the books at and what we actually did close the books at. You can see here, this is on the revenue side, unrestricted in the top section, restricted and then combined. Overall, obviously, there's some movement in and out on certain activities. So specifically, some of the larger ticket items, you can see other state income was lower than projected. That was primarily the transportation allocation from the state. Our final allocation was different than what we had projected. And then local income, you do see an increase there. That's the interest, additional interest on our reserved accounts. Again, we assume in our cash flow that we're going to spend all of our funds. When the funds don't get spent, the money stays in our account and we earn more interest. And so that's that final settle up associated with that. On the restricted accounts, the big ones there, federal dollars, you see about $500,000. That really isn't a decrease in the revenues. It's what's called a deferral, meaning on federal dollars, we don't recognize the revenue until we spend it. So what happened there is we had about $500,000 in title programs that did not get spent. And that does happen pretty frequently every year due to the fact that you have either open positions or extra time or activities that the costs don't occur until July, or just the expenditures were less than what was budgeted. Other state income, you do see a bump increase there. The biggest item on that is the CYBHI, which is a grant that we're getting to implement additional billing of service. So we're going to be starting to look at billing for Medi-Cal and just actually private insurance as well, I should say. And so this is a grant through the SCOE pass-through to be able to start doing that work. And so that's what that item there. Last one, local income, you can see adjustments there. Most of that is adjustments related to, we have more or less what we call a reimbursement account with regards to the student ASB and fundraising activities, I should say. And so we had assumed a larger collection of revenues for the end of the year, and they didn't all come in. So. But when you bring it all together, you can see total combined, we were within $90,000 of our total revenue assumption. Now, if you look at the individual lines, we weren't quite as close, but cumulatively, being $90,000 off of a $339 million revenue line is, I would say, pretty good. So all in all, I'll take that as a win. On the expenditure sides, looking at the unrestricted side, you can see some adjustment lines there. Both certificate and classified salaries coming in higher than what we had projected. A lot of that is with regards to summer school, final adjustments for staffing, for substitutes, and also there were some transfers between restricted, unrestricted, and some other activities that combine into those as well. You see both books and supplies, contracted services, both of those less than what we projected. That's really a pretty standard activity, especially on contracted services. If we have contracts in place and the activity is not completed by June 30th, then those contracts roll over to the next year. So the expenditure that we assume is going to be June 30th and it doesn't happen, it moves into the next fiscal year. But also, I think another chunk of that was utilities. We were projecting some higher levels on some of our utilities. And if you noticed, we didn't have quite the heat of the summer and some of those things. And so when those things happen, the utility bills do drop. And so we see some significant savings during the summer months. And so we like it when it's only 95 degrees versus 112, right? So those are some of the other pieces there with that. But you can again see there, if you combine all of it up on the unrestricted side, we were within $100,000 of what we projected for expenditures. On the restricted side, we're definitely seeing money fall out across the board here. And that is just the nature of a lot of our categorical programs. We budget that we're going to fully expend a lot of the categorical funding, and those activities do not end up happening. Some of the bigger ones you see there are Expanded Learning Opportunity Program, Title title funds, some of those other activities. Prop 28, which is our VAPA program, the funding for VAPA, and then CTE. So again, these are accounts where we budgeted that we were going to spend more, and those activities did not end up happening on the restricted side. And so you see about $4 million less in expenditures than projected. So you bring all that together, and we get our totals here. And so grand total, we were projecting an unrestricted deficit about $9.9 million or almost $10 million. We were a little under that, about $9.1 million, but again, pretty spot on. We're really working hard as a team to try to identify what we really think the budget is going to be and where the costs are so that we're better aligned with the ability to know exactly how much money we have available for us for the next year. Decrease of deficit by $800,000 is great, but also that $9 million deficit in general is not great, right? And so we're continuing to work on that as part of the Superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee and other processes that we have in place as the district goes. Next slide is just our ending fund balance. You can see that broken out. There's $82 million, almost $83 million in ending fund balance, but as you can see, restricted accounts is more than 50% of that $44 million. The unrestricted side is where we're going down at a pretty good clip here with that $9 million deficit. You can see that that's continuing down, but we do meet our economic reserves. We do meet all of our committed items that the board has allocated for specific activities. You can see those. And then we did have some dollars set aside for future district uncertainties, which is part of the offset to the $14 million deficit that we're projecting for next year's adopted budget, which was 25-26. Other funds within the district, you can see here across the board, different activities. Nothing of real importance that I speak to. Cafeteria does continue to see a surplus there in that program. We are continuing to try to enhance and expand program and services to students. And so we'll continue to try to push that money out into programs for better food opportunities for the kids, and deferred maintenance accounts, all the facility accounts, all of those are activities that are occurring as you see along the way there. So those are the supplemental forms that you actually have in the SACS documents. We recommend you taking a look at those. They break down key different areas with regards to attendance, the categorical pots of money that we receive, if we're making sure we're spending sufficient amount of funds in the classroom, which we did meet at 55%, and some other areas, including the GAN form, which you approved earlier tonight. Timeline continuing for 25-26. October is a big day for us. That's Seabeds Day. That is a very important day for identification for our numbers. You see all the dates for the Superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee. We appreciate the student board members participating in our first meeting. They were very wise, though, and they were able to find someone to allocate the additional meetings that you see on there to another set of members that I actually got to meet with yesterday, so we're excited to work with them. And then you see the entire cycle from first interim all the way down to next year's presentation to you in September, and then final audit report. And so I was asked to speak quickly. There's a football game going on, and is there any questions?
Any questions from the board? I see none from the public. We'll bring it back to the board. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse.
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Laird. Ms. Rochelle?
Yes. Ms. Lopez-Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carried, 5-0.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate
You're welcome.
you.
You get me for a couple more items.
Yes, I do. Absolutely. We will go on to item C. Approve the proposal from Cumming Group for value engineering services for the new elementary school and SFID 3 Folsom planning area. There you go.
All right. And so the board has asked us to bring these items as discussion action items as we go through on the larger contracts. This is the value engineering service contract with regards to the new elementary school. And so you'll see two of these in a row. One is for the new elementary that would be in SFID 3. And we're actually going to have a presentation a little bit later on about the new elementary and the design work that's happening with that. And so that if you have questions on that, I can walk you through the process, but otherwise we're just looking for an approval.
Right. Any questions from the board on this?
Mr. President, I do. It's not a question, just for citizens' interest and everybody's interest as well. This value engineering is an oversight kind of person on our contracts.
That is exactly right. The board had asked us to add an additional third-party oversight, which is the value engineering component.
Right. And those people in our own terms are the experts in that area so that they can be eyes and ears of the district.
Yeah, I guess you could see it as an additional agent of the board to ensure that we're doing our due diligence for the taxpayers, for sure.
Yeah, not the taxpayer side, more on the work. If any material things happening, they have done this kind of thing, that value engineering.
Yes, but value engineering is saving money is the goal. So so that comes back to the dollars as well.
True.
But yes, yeah, quality control as well.
Quality control,
both of those things, yes.
Independent audits verification kind of thing. So my only request is I was going through this one, the pool of our value engineering is not that big.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2-3 vendors are the companies we are working with right now. And for example, recently we have done that Core West contract, which is huge. And I'm sure we have a value engineer there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that value engineer is also pulled from our small group of experts we have identified in the past.
Yes.
Shortlisted. So my request is going to be, since there is so many contracts are coming to our way, especially the measure R and S, so expanding this one and bringing more pool of experts and let among them to bid the best. So that's my request for future. Okay. I know you guys are already working on some of the enhancements. Right now we only have 2. So it's better to have more than 2 because that role is very critical in my mind. So that's the only thing I want.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to express my appreciation to the staff for diving into this value engineering. I guess I've probably been a pain in the butt over the years about some of the concerns I've had about some of the extra features that we have put in some of our recent construction and felt that there were areas that we could definitely have some savings going forward with new construction. And I was a big fan in encouraging the district in seeking value engineering services on new projects going forward. And so I'm very happy to see this before the board tonight. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions from the board? None from the public. I'll bring it back to the board. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Reed.
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Larrett. Ms. Rochelle?
Yes. Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong? Aye. Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett? Aye. Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right. Change the name, rinse, repeat. This one is for the Cordova High School construction project. We're very excited. This is part of Measure S. And so again, bringing in a value engineer to oversee and support that project. So.
All right, any questions from the board? Because this is pretty standard. I see none from the public. I'll bring it back to the board. Questions, or I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Board Member Larrett, second by Board Member Reed. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong? Aye. Ms. Lofthouse? Aye. Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett? Aye. Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0.
All right. And this is something else that's pretty standard. Welcome again.
The next couple items are going to be about approval of contracts to our contractors for leaseback on both the new elementary school and the Cordova High project. And so the board, with our last situation, with the high school situation, it was asked that we get a little more detail on how the decision was made. So we kept the structure, appreciate the team's work on that. And so we do have a presentation that just walks us through the scoring mechanism that we used. Again, as we discussed, we are working on a new scoring metric, I should say. But currently we are still, because these were already in process, we continue to use our previous methodology, right? So, and so if we want to pull that one up, please. I think it's the contractor selection one. SFID number 3, new elementary school. Yeah. Yep, there it is. And so this format will look familiar. This is definitely, oops, wait a minute. Nope, this is the presentation one. Let me go back. Attached to the wrong item? Hold on. It is it? Okay, go ahead and pop it up. Oh no, I saw another one there for a second.
I did. I thought they were the same
Oh,
ones. I'm
sorry. Okay. We got this. All right, here we go. All right, and so we're just going to talk about the RFP process. We dived into this pretty deep when we had our study session, right? So if you guys are okay, I'm just going to whip through this pretty quickly. Again, we did all of the required steps with regards to disclosing this request, trade journals, all of those pieces with regards to the RFP. We did get 11 submissions for this project. And so one of the things that I know the team shared is I know this is more than we did for the high school project, and that's because the high school project and the complexity of it and the dollar value, it does reduce the number of folks that normally are able to participate in that. You can see here's the name of the 11 firms. Continuing on, all 11 firms were considered generally qualified so that they could meet the first step in the process. The committee ended up selecting 7 to not continue to the second conversation, which is normally that's the interview, an in-person interview process. And you can see why there, just some common pieces of either they just didn't miss the mark on some of the areas that were prioritization for the interview process that we had. And so there were 4 that were brought forward, Balfour, Landmark, Roblin, and Swinderton. You see that those names, some of them are very familiar to us. They've been through our process before. And you can see it's about experience and the project scope and the details that they brought. So then they participated in a in-person presentation with the committee. And then there are the categories that we talked about again. And so one of the scoring, the very first scoring here is the personnel that would be specifically assigned to the project. So then they're looking at the experience of the personnel, of the lead staff that will be working on site for that. Then continuing on, technical expertise out of a total of 75 points there. Then past performance. Having experience with several of these firms, we have some impact on that as well. And then we did do reference checks, which again was not a requirement, but this was something we added in on top of as part of the process. You can see there that we did call in on multiple projects. And you can see some of our projects on here as well with regards to some of the work that was happening. Local experience, all of them scored well, I believe, in that area. Safety records, so there's actual category information about that. And then price, so there is a rating scoring system on the pricing. And then the project-specific plan. So this is an important category as well. This is talking about how that firm is going to do the specific project on behalf of the district. And so they spend time on that. Financial capability. This is a much lower bonding project than the high school was, so scores on that were higher. And then some of the key factors is the personnel that they're doing, past performance, local expertise, technical expertise, obviously cost. At the end of the day, Roblin actually came out on top, and you can see there at 578. It was pretty clear that they were the number one on that one. And the key factors that the committee shared was that they did complete the Alder Creek project. We were, with regards to the team, they were very, very happy with the outcomes of the Alder Creek project. And so the team that would be working with Roblin on this would be pretty much the same team in that regard. A lot of experience in elementary, new elementary specifically, good pre-construction work, and local experience. So, questions on that?
Any questions from the board? I see none from the public. We'll bring it back to the board. Any final questions, comments, and or a motion?
I'll move.
Move by board.
Just have like one quick comment.
Sure.
It's just a big thank you to the team. Anybody who's had to do bids, 11 of them, that's like a crazy amount. That is a ton of documents to go through. So really appreciate all of your work on going through all of that and really putting this together for us. This makes it super clear for us. We, totally support you guys with that, but this is just makes it really super clear for us and for the public to just really do a deep dive on those. So appreciate all the work that you guys and efforts you guys have put into this process. So
yeah, you know who wins when we do these things? Kinko's. Because we get stacks of very glossy packets that are like 100 pages thick each. And and realize they did this and the Cordova project at the same time. And so when I went in there, they had their central little desk was just this high of just glossy packets, right? So
yeah, I think we were commenting at our last facilities meeting that I really, with the team that you have, I'm not really sure how you're keeping pace. It's like a crazy amount of stuff that we have going on. So commend you guys on that as well, because that is some crazy time management you guys have going on over there. So thank you.
All right, there is a motion on the floor by Board Member Lofthouse. I will entertain a second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Reed. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalam-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right.
All right, and this is the next project. This is the Cordova High project. This is the new admin library classroom right in the front. And so we're gonna pop that presentation up and we'll just walk through the same process that we just discussed. It should be Cordova High, new construction. Yeah, you got it. All righty. Thank you so much, appreciate that. All righty, and we're gonna just go through that we did the same process with reaching out to folks on that. We had got 10 submissions, and we're receiving, and all 10, it says 11, but it was 10. So, and here are the firms there for that one. Some different names on this. This is a little different style project. Here it's a 2-story building, remember? And so there's, some additional technical components on that are gonna make it a little more unique. So selection process, we went through there. There were 8 evaluators on that. 6 of them were staff. We also had an architect and our consultant. And then we went through and narrowed those down based off the written submissions for the interviews. 7 were not brought forward for interviews. You can see them there. Again, just certain components with regards to expertise or past performance or other documents or information within the documents that just didn't check all the boxes that we were looking for. The 4 that were moved forward were Flint, Landmark, Roblin, and Swinderton. Again, some recurring names there. You can see that they obviously check a lot of the boxes consistently in their processes. So just looking at the very first one is personnel. You can see the scoring there on that. Very tight scores on the personnel. So you're looking at firms that have high quality individuals who have done a lot of projects that are tailored to the education components that we're looking for. Continue on technical expertise. Out of 75 points, again, close numbers there. Past performance, you can see those, both 2 scoring over 100 points out of 110, which are good scores. Here's, again, us doing the reference checking of projects. Again, you're going to see probably a project or 2 on there from us through all of the work that you see there. So local experience, again, all high scores on that one. These are all local firms. Safety record, again, very close. Price proposal, all their numbers are relatively, there was probably one person that lowballed it and then everybody else was relatively close to it. Project-specific plans, so again, looking at how they're gonna work with us as a team. All scores, again, very high, all very close as well. I know that this one was a pretty close process in general. Financial capability, again, this is a larger project than some, but definitely not the cost of the big high school projects we had talked about before. So again, summary of key factors, this is pretty much the same bullet points that we talked about. One of the things that's different about this is the 2-story building. Also, an occupied campus is a big deal, right? So if you're having to build while we're temporary housing students, and so how you handle those things, how you deal with the loud noises or your staff engaging with the students appropriately, those kind of types of things really are an important piece as well, right? How do you do your badging? How do you do your fencing? All of those things are important when it comes to the safety components of these projects. And as you can see, the combined total scores on that, Flint did come out on ahead, not by much, but they definitely did score the highest points. And so some key factors selecting of Flint, occupied campuses, that was a big piece for that. Experience in 2-story, you can see the metal framing, so those trades are an important piece of it as well. So they have experience working with those subcontractors. good pre-construction and technical expertise and local experience as well. So questions on that one?
All right, any questions from the board? I see none from the public. We'll bring it back to the board. Sean, I did have one question.
Sure.
When we're talking safety,
Yeah.
right? If the building is occupied by students and staff, does staff go through any additional training as far as what to look for, any, things that construction company may leave out?
When you mean with the design work
With
side?
the design or just anything, just materials being laid out. You talked about fencing, but.
Oh, I see. You're talking about when the project's actually occurring.
Occurring, yes.
Okay. So the building, the students and staff will not be on the area where the building is happening. Okay. We're obviously demoing some of the existing buildings. We're going to have to create temporary housing. So we're going to create, you've seen that before, some portables off to the side, some other setups. And then what we will do then is have fencing and routing so that the students and staff are never actually in the area that the construction work is happening. Some of the biggest areas that you look at for safety, though, are ensuring that the egress going in and out of the construction area, that is clearly marked, because you have some big equipment, you have dump trucks, you have other things. So you want to make sure that there is a very good process ensuring that when you're engaging, you're not engaging during the time of day when all the kids are out on the campus. You're making sure that you're trying to stay out of the way of the areas that are the common areas. So maybe pick up and drop off gets adjusted, or their time, a window for when they take lunch or whatever is within the window of time that is best fitting for the campus as well. So those are some of the things we do when it comes to safety pieces.
Got it. All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions from the board, comments? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse.
I second.
Evelyn. I thought you guys both said it at the same time. Okay, we have a second from our student board member. Give me the name. Evelyn. You don't mind first name, right? I wanted to get the last name, but first name. Okay. Ms. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petrarca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalom-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0.
Right, thank you so much. We will move on to item 13. Discussion only, annual board report for Folsom Cordova Community Charter and New Pacific Charter Schools.
Invited Dr. Huber up to the lectern. Yeah, no, don't be sorry.
Right
Welcome,
ahead.
sir. Yeah, go for it.
So this is our annual report for both New Pacific as well as Folsom Cordova Community Charter, done every year in partnership with the California Charter Authorizing Professionals organization that we work with. Just a really quick overview. If you're looking at the authorization documents that were attached to this item, the life cycle of a charter school kind of comes in 4 components. There's the application, the authorization and startup, the performance, oversight, and accountability, and the reauthorization or closure process. And tonight's overview will be obviously living in the performance, oversight, and accountability aspect of the life of the charter. There's 4 questions that the annual report basically has to speak to. Is the charter school's educational program a success? Is the charter school financially viable? Is the charter school operating and governed effectively? And is the charter school serving public policy purposes? The report comes in 2 formats, the overview, which is what I'm going through with you right now, as well as the more detailed staff appendix, which is also in the attachment. So we'll start with New Pacific. And in New Pacific, what I'm going to do is, after last year's feedback, just hit some highlights really quickly of what's in the report. So I will not be going through the entire report like I did last year. So areas of strength, the continued strengthening and implementation of the Leader in Me and their PBI's program, which covers civics and social emotional learning at New Pacific. Strong evidence of a positive and supportive school culture through the teachers as well as staff. Increased parent engagement and established PTO and increased activity with volunteers. Governance, all staff and teachers are credentialed or have the appropriate certificates or authorizations. Site visits with our fiscal and board representatives indicate transparency and strong communication systems are in place at the school for their all stakeholder groups. And then increased enrollment and strong recruitment effort in terms of New Pacific really working towards making sure the demographic composition of the school is similar to that of the district. Some areas for recommendation of best practices or improvement: to continue focus on bringing student achievement in line with district and state standards. That's basically everything we're all working for in education. Fiscal, the standard to meet in terms of 60 days of cash on hand. Also, a 5% best practice for reserve is an area that's called out for a need for improvement. And then finally, the educational program, ensure equitable access to the educational program by addressing the high suspension rate of students with disabilities compared to overall other student groups, as well as addressing the continued high rates of chronic absenteeism. So if you jump then to the actual performance report and you look at all the different indicators, all the different metrics, New Pacific is on track or substantially on track in all areas, with the exception of, I just lost it, there we go, chronic absenteeism, both for the overall school as well as specific student groups. And then there's some aspects of fiscal health and sustainability, which we'll get to when we get to those areas. Actually, the fiscal aspects of it, we've met with New Pacific since this report was first created, and there has been substantial improvement or areas that have been addressed. So if there's any questions about that at the conclusion of the presentation, Mr. Martin will be handling the questions in terms of fiscal. All right, and then moving on to Folsom Cordova Charter School.
Dr. Huber, can I ask really quick?
Absolutely.
What the enrollment currently is for New Pacific?
You know what? I don't have that number in front of me. Mr. Kiefer, Dr. Kiefer, do you know by chance off the top of your head? We're at 200 students. 200 students?
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Okay, so Folsom Community Charter, areas of strength identified: positive school culture, students engage in their learning, and then can access a range of multi-age and creative arts and social workshops. There's new strategies and supports in place to help parents at home, because obviously at that school, the parent is the main educator. There's a strong working relationship between the district and the charter school staff. Also, FCCC has a very strong and active advisory council, and they provide a robust and engaging hybrid independent study program for their students. In terms of areas for best practices or areas of improvement, we definitely need the school to continue focusing on, which is one of their big areas of focus since last year, of increasing enrollment. And then also that distinction between the difference between the school advisory council and then of course the school board and the roles of those two entities, which is with that corrective action tonight we took with the LCAP. And then also in terms of all the metrics, Folsom Cordova Community Charter meets all the metrics that they're either substantially on track or on track, except for average daily attendance and then debt default. So those are the two areas that the school will be focusing on this year, as well as, again, really working on advertising and getting the word out to increase in attendance. That concludes the presentation.
Could I get the student number if you have it for
FCCC?
Yeah.
I don't, but I will find out and let you know for the board meeting ends. Yeah, I can jump on PowerSchool and find that out real quick.
Right.
I just want to mention, it's a total aside. Does everyone notice Dr. Huber's lapel pin?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Moving on. Item B, School Facilities Improvement District, SFID 3 Facility Update, Part 2.
I know you've missed him. I'd like to invite Mr. Martin back to the lectern.
Good evening again. And so if you remember, we did do part 1 at the last meeting. And so you are getting part 2 here, where we're going to update information about specifically SFID 3. And we're going to be focusing on the new high school and elementary school design work, just giving you guys just a little update and taste of what's going on that. And so you see the timelines there where we are. So we're remembering that we had a SFID 3 advisory committee that was representative of the parents of the community, along with some staff members and representatives from our labor groups, and participated in making recommendations. One of them was with regards to finding ways to reduce cost on our design work. They went with a value engineering solution, which is kind of a in-between of what we had before and trying to find ways to reduce costs, but not going into a full portable model, right? And so additionally, then in April, we brought to the board some options, and the board selected the Alder Creek redesign or adaptation model. And so that's where we are at right now. Again, some of the pros and cons, we feel that there is a little more cost than a campus-style model, but it does continue aligned with the educational standards that we're trying to keep going forward. Additionally, it allows us to repurpose and redesign using the existing kind of more or less layout of what we have for Mangini and Alder Creek. And so again, for supervision, circulation, and some other purposes, that's really a design style that we're very happy with. And so floor plans for it, again, it's still a 2-story building. And some of the changes, though, that we talked about is some of the areas that had been previously enclosed are now open areas. There is a big piece of noting that we've had to continually add additional classrooms because of the universal TK expansion, the special ed needs that we have talked about before. We've continued to add additional classrooms. So even though we've decreased square footage, we keep adding it back on, but getting more classrooms out of that instead of maybe common space area and those types of things. And so here's some of the information. There was the original Alder Creek, and these are, even dollars at the current time, I'm saying the wrong terminology for it, but more or less present day dollars versus the total cost when we escalate for all the inflationary costs. But you can see one of the big pieces was that we were dropping the square footage quite a bit from Alder Creek to the adapted model. And that was part of the place, but that was before we had to continually add a little more classroom space as well. So, but you do see that by doing those changes, we were able to reduce costs by 18%. The campus style model you can see there was about a 20% decrease there. And that's what we were talking about when we brought those options to the board in April. Again, we're continuing to meet with the staff, the principals, other folks with regards to special education, and so we're looking at ways to continue to adjust the schematic design, try to make that the standard for all of the new schools that we will be building going forward. And so this is a layout of the design. It does have a very similar feel to Mangini in that it's kind of lays out in a similar way. And then we did flip it, didn't we? I forgot about that. Yeah. So just for the layout, structural layout for the area that we're doing, we are flipping the building. You can see that those other wings now are up on the left side versus the right side. So now it's totally different. But still got a lot of the same structures. You see that common area in the center. Some of the things that are the big piece here for us is the expansion on the left side of those extra classrooms. And now the gymnasium is on the right side, the administration, all of those pieces. And then you see the second story above. And so now, again, using 2025 dollars, you see the original Alder Creek at 67 million, the original, and then now we're at round 3. But the part that you want to see there is some of the additional impacts of round 3 there, adding additional square footage that we had to add for classrooms, additional classrooms that were identified. So again, where the money is at the end of the day is square footage, right? That's where you can save, or where cost increases go is on the square footage area. And so we tried to get that square footage down, but as we continue to know what our program needs are and the service needs of our students, we're having to add some square footage back to make all the accommodations that are necessary. So, but you still see, even with those adjustments, we are looking at a 16% reduction in cost over what the Alder Creek project would have been if you're using 2025 dollars. So that's good. The problem, of course, is when we build it, it won't be $25. It'll continue to escalate up, and that's something that we're having to monitor. So again, we're going through the design process. You guys just approved some of the contractor and also the value engineering components. And so those will be included in the work that we're working on. Pending funding, you see the pending funding part. We're planning to start in the spring of 27 to do the groundbreaking. So you can get your hard hat out and all that good stuff. So, any questions about the elementary before we jump over to the high school? All righty. Let's talk about the high school. This one I think is just there to show off and show how many things there are going on and how many meetings, right? Just a little recognition of the team and how many meetings there are involved in the process necessary. High schools are interesting. You know, I came from the elementary background, and so just the level of sophistication of when you're programming more or less something for a couple thousand kids, there's a lot of pieces that have to be lined up to make everything work. And so here is the design. This is the location in the Folsom Ranch area. This is actually 2 parcels that we are still finalizing all of the agreement for between ourselves and the developers on this, but we are moving along with the city to make that happen. The south of that, or at least the bottom, the south side, would be the White Rock Road. And so that's the corner over here that we're talking about. And you see that it is a middle school, high school combined. The dotted line you see there, the left side is your middle school side, the right side is your high school side. And you do see all of the facilities that come along with that with regards to the fields and all of those pieces. We are continuing design. There's going to be multiple phases on this, just so you guys know, because obviously it's 2 schools, so there's going to be phasing with that. But also just budget-wise, it's going to require multiple phasing just because the ability to get enough cash to do the whole project in one sitting is just not feasible. And so we've done the contractor selection for leaseback. That was core. And then, again, pending funding, we would start spring of 2027. I see some recurring patterns there, right? We're going to be starting the ground. But this one obviously takes a lot longer to finish up than the elementary. So funding of SFID 3, and I think we are all kind of aware of that. The committee that met recommended that we go out for a district-wide bond to support our future facility needs within Folsom Cordova, right? They identified that the SFIDs continued to support the splitting of the district, or at least in the idea of 2 districts versus 1 district, and 2 separate communities versus 1 Folsom Cordova community, which does make sense. And so we are working on our survey that will be going out in October. That will be providing us guidance on the level of support of a district-wide bond. And just so you guys know, the complexity of this survey is going to be pretty significant in that we're going to be trying to poll our community to understand their support of a district-wide bond and also potentially what it would take for them to support their local component of the bond as well, if that's necessary. So we're going to be doing a lot of different steps within that process because we want to make sure that we have as much information as we can and bring it to the board to make the best decision you can when it comes to deciding if we're going to, how we're going to move forward on funding these projects. So this is just some information with regards to the cash flow on these projects. A lot of information here, but I think what you're seeing is that to be able to do the phase 1 of the high school and the elementary, we need somewhere in the neighborhood of $540 million. It sounds like a lot of money, right? But think about it. An airplane, like a jet, costs like $1 billion anymore. So this is nothing, right? So it's all relative. But it is a lot of money. To be honest, to get that $540 million, if we were to issue the bond issuance, that is pretty much going to cover the whole thing, right? I mean, 538, 641 is what it would cost us, and the total issuances would be 540. I mean, it's kind of silly how the numbers line up. Now, realize that's only the bond proceeds. We also have developer fees. We will get state money, but of course, it always comes after the fact. So there is other funds that would help, offset some of those pieces as well. So all the bond funds would not be just for those projects, but there wouldn't be a ton of money for all the other needs within the district. So So election, this is just showing you how we would access that money. It's $544 million potentially if we were to go out for the full $60 per $100,000 of assessed value. We try to be conservative on our interest rates and the AV growth. So if it ended up that the interest rates are lower or the AV growth is at a higher level, we can do one of two things. We can either issue the bonds sooner, or we can potentially be able to access more with less, with the same $60, or have a AV rate less than $60. There's a couple different ways that we can handle that. Just timelines on this. You can see if we were to go out for a June versus a November, it does accelerate the timeline, but either way, it's going to be a big lift and a lot of work in a very short period of time when we do all the work necessary for it, right? And I know folks are probably wondering, well, why don't we start now? Well, first thing I would say is we are started now. We are meeting with stakeholders throughout Folsom Cordova community on a regular basis, talking about the needs of the district and what the future holds for us when it comes to capacity of our campuses and other needs. I will also share that we're being very proactive on trying to communicate out the positive stories that are happening in the district so that people know what the needs are for our facilities and what we're doing with those facilities currently and how it benefits our students. And so that's something we're working on as well. High school enrollment projections, you can see here, the number where you really see it is on the Folsom High side where the red just shoots all over the moon there as that continues to grow. And that, keep in mind that assumes no boundary adjustments and no temporary housing adjustments or anything else that we could potentially do to accommodate some of those students and move them around a little bit. But 3,000 plus students is where they are, and it just will keep getting bigger. Right? I think that's 4,500 is the number up at the top. I can't remember.
Just over 4,000.
Over 4,000. Okay. My hometown of Pollock Pines was 4,000 people. So just perspective on the size of that. And 4,000 elevation. So how about that? What if the bond doesn't pass? I know we've been asking, a lot of folks have been asking us, well, does the district even have plans if the bond doesn't pass? We do. We're actively always looking at all solutions and scenarios, but we're not actively going out and telling people, if it doesn't pass, all these things are going to happen. Because part of it is a little bit of a scare tactic, right? Because if the bond doesn't pass, it could impact how we do our programs. It could require us to talk about year-round schools. It could talk about how we have to do temporary portable housing or have students, when we look at boundaries, look at adjusting boundaries to areas that are further away from their home schools, things of that nature, which those are not fun conversations. We will have a full boardroom for those meetings. And so we would much rather have a positive conversation or direction at this point where we're looking at solutions that are the best outcome. Because be honest, if we have to do a lot of temporary housing, that is going to take money away that could have gone towards the building of the new buildings, right? Because those portables are going to be temporary and we're going to buy them instead of putting that money towards the projects that we would want to complete. So there are a lot of options and the team is familiar with these because there were growth times earlier in Folsom's history where we did have to do some portable schools and some other temporary housing solutions. And so we do know that if all things have to be done based off of the dollar decision versus what we want to do best for kids, then we will make adjustments if we have to. So those things we are aware of those. We are working through all those scenarios, what those would potentially look like. So questions?
Yeah, Sean, I have questions.
Sure.
So a survey will go out in October, right? And how long is that survey going to be out for before you bring it back?
We're going to bring it to the November meetings to the board. Probably.
Okay, so about a month, basically. Kind of curious of what's going to be in that survey.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
I would love to know that.
So what I would share is we are working with a firm that is going to help generate the questions. But in general terms, the questions are going to be, how well do you think your school is, right? So you're just right off the bat, you're trying to get a vibe of, do they have a positive feeling for Folsom Cordova or not, right? Okay. And then the questions get into areas of, if we were to ask you to support a school bond, would you do that, right? And you normally have some kind of statement with it. Would you help us deal with overcrowding and making sure that we can offer all the programs to students? It normally trends towards the concept of, and I hate to tell you this, but you give a list of all the reasons why you would pass a bond, like on a scale of 1 to 5. So there's like the list. It'll say, would you pass a bond if it would fix all the leaky toilets? Oh, I'd give a 4. Would you pass a bond if it meant we could have a new stadium? Oh, I'd only give a 2, right? And when you go down that list, because that's part of the questions you ask, what you see is things that make people worry, safety items, are score the highest of getting people to vote or support a bond. And so we look at that. But then, of course, one of the biggest questions we're asking is, if you are a Rancho Cordova resident, would you support a bond to support that would potentially pay for a new school and in the area that's not going to be directly impacting your student? But then the reverse of that is, you know, on the Folsom side, the question would be, are you willing to support a bond that some of those dollars will go somewhere else too, right? So it goes both ways on that. And then you get into the layers of the northern part of Folsom versus the southern part of Folsom. We just had, was it Measure G? It did not pass, the tax measure, and it did not pass, right? And so that was within the city of Folsom. And so, you know, the question becomes, will the community see that students and the kids of the future, when they grow up, they don't live within the boundaries of Rancho Cordova Folsom. They live all over this place, right? And so if we want to have a society that supports each other and does the outcomes of what we believe in when it comes to our flag and democracy, then we have to step forward and all give a little, even if that student maybe is not in my neighborhood, but across the street or down the hall or the other direction. Those kids are still our kids, right? And that's the concept that we have to more or less push through to the community, that it's the benefit of all. But we also have to deal with the taxpayers that are concerned because do they think we're wasting the money, or that we already have too much money, or that's too much money. And so we have to explain what we have to go through in the state of California to build a school, and that we didn't set the requirements of all the wage requirements and all of the safety components and all of the engineering pieces and all the things we have to do for asbestos that create cost, right? And so they have to understand, but where our goal is the outcomes for kids. And so navigating all of those things is our job.
Yeah, so. I'm just kind of concerned about what questions are going to be asked, because in my honest opinion, I think all it's going to do is just separate and cause even more division between the two communities. That's just my personal opinion, but I don't know. I will entertain any other comments or questions from the board.
Just to comment on the financial component of things too, and speaking to kind of Measure G a little bit, I think some of why Measure G didn't pass was just a feeling from the community of lack of transparency and fiscal responsibility, right? So I think all the steps that we've been taking this last year have really driven toward more transparency for our community and showing more fiscal responsibility as, you know, we're doing our value engineerings and, you know, we're looking at, how we're looking at the firms that we're hiring and, you know, presenting in the way that we're presenting, you know, really trying to like line that up for the community that, you know, we really want to be in partnership with the community and really be fiscally responsible and show them that we're moving that direction. So, I think we've been working on that for at least a solid year. You know, after we've done RNS, I think there was a lot of feedback that we had, and that was some, you know, good measurables for us. I think working towards that, you know, and even from the Rancho Cordova community, you know, yes, we passed RNS, but there are still projects that we won't be able to finish, you know, ultimately. So, I think that's just another component that we have to really talk to both communities about is, you know, even with the phased approach, you're not going to get it all front loaded, right? So, and there's still, you know, different things in the district. So I think it's going to be us being really tight on our communication with the public and, what our priorities and our goals are, and being really specific about, you know, we can't do anything about the capacities of the schools. You know, I mean, we aren't building the houses, right? So we're being responsive to what we have from the communities as far as housing builds. So it's just unfortunate that it's just outpaced our capability financially to like keep up with that. So, I think if we are all like really specific and tight on some of those comments in the survey and things like that as well. Hopefully we'll have a good outcome, but I think it's going to be a heavy lift for all of us. If we if the survey comes out positive, it's going to be a lot of walking.
Absolutely.
A lot of community engagement.
All right, any other questions, comments from the board? All right, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we get down to item 14, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real brief this evening. As many of you know, we have at our 3 high schools, and meaning actually 4 high schools when you include Kinney, because I'm actually going to show love to Kinney. We have some amazing CTE, career technical education programs throughout our district. And we have 2 culinary academies, and they do incredible work. And so this year we're going to be rotating on our board meeting nights for the dinner that we have, because we're all here pretty much all evening. And so we eat dinner together. We're going to have our culinary academies at Cordova High School and Kinney doing a rotation of the catering. And I just wanted to say a special thank you to Chef Anderson and the young chefs at Kinney High School for delivering and cooking, making, chefing, whatever it's called, and a delicious dinner for all of us tonight. So thanks to the team at Kinney. We really appreciate you. And I will say that I felt well nourished and alert for this board meeting because of our very healthy dinner. I would like to thank the team at Cordova High School, the young people that came to present today, Evelyn, you included. It's hard to go first sometimes because you don't have anything to compare yourself against, but an A+. I thought you guys did an amazing job. I really appreciate you leaning in. I want to say an extra special thanks to the staff at Cordova High and also to Dr. Huber. I've been on Dr. Huber since about April about this, and it went really well. So thank you, and thanks for putting up with me regarding that. And then that deeply rooted presentation went so much, like, I knew it was going to be great, but I just wanted to thank Dr. Pease for doing that presentation because it was so thoughtful and meaningful to, I hope, our trustees as well as our legacy employees in the community. And yeah, that's it for this evening. I'll keep it short. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We'll go down to our student board members.
So at Cordova, we had our first back to school rally on August 22nd. So it was my last rally as a senior. It was very fun. It was very hot. We had to move it to second period because if we had it like in 5th period, we were all gonna be died of heat of the sun. And then we had Spirit Week on from the week of August 20th to the 22nd. We had Surfer versus Bikers, and then we had Throwback Thursday. And then for the rally, we wore our class colors. Also in ASB, we filmed a video inspired by the Disney show Austin and Ally, and that's where we all got to like show off who was in ASB for this school year. I thought it was very fun to film, and I'm gonna email it to you guys so you can watch it because it's really nice. We all look so cute because I'm really photogenic. So, and then we had back to school night on August 28th, and I had the opportunity to read the land acknowledgement with Dr. Jackson, Dr. Castro, and Juan, who's sitting right there. Today we had Club Rush with over 30 clubs that signed up, so that was also very fun to see. I went to go see some, and then one that I found really interesting was History Day. So, first football game, thanks to the Spirit Committee and the people that I work with, we managed to make students hype, and it was really awesome, and I can't wait until our next football games. And since it was senior night, we had to accommodate with like other parents for the student section, but I think everything went well, and I will report back for future football games and other sports games because we want to spread student involvement and hype around other sports and not only for football. Let's see. Oh, and then we also had a freshman barbecue the same day of our first football game. So we had about like 3 things to manage because I'm that type of person that's like involved in everything. So I had to manage lead crew with freshman barbecue, but we also had a lot of teachers that helped us out. And that is it.
Right, Board Member Addie?
A lot of exciting things have been happening at Vista too. At our last board meeting, we voted on, we approved something for Vista's pool to be renovated, and the fences are already all around our pool, and like there's no water in it. That whole area is fenced off. So I was like, it was really cool to see something that we talked about at our last board meeting actually like happening at my school. So that's been happening. And last week, Vista celebrated Kindness Week, which is a whole week of spirit days that we use to promote unity and the spirit of kindness. I'm actually wearing a friendship bracelet that I made for one of the lunchtime activities that we had, so that was super fun. And the end of last week was capped off with our first rally, which was our Welcome Back rally, and that was super hype as well. Shout out to our PRCs who have been doing so well of maintaining school spirit. And our homecoming is going to be September 27th, and September 24th is going to be our homecoming parade and our night rally. Our club rush is going to be next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Vista last year had almost 100 clubs that were started by students that we needed a whole separate branch of student government to manage all those clubs. So this year we pared it down to 65 clubs, and each day of Club Rush is dedicated to a different category of clubs that are going to be presenting. My club, Environmental Impact Club, is going to be hosting our booth on September 10th, which is next Wednesday. So that's going to be super exciting. And then tomorrow we have our very first home football game against Granite Bay, and it's whiteout themed.
All right, Board Member Charmanchella.
I will be out of town for next meeting. I'm going to miss all you guys. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Board Member Reed?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So over the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years, off again and on again, I've talked about the boy crisis that's gripping not only our community and our state, but the nation. I've read passages from books and articles, newspaper articles, magazine articles, academic journals. And so I actually want to touch on this again tonight. On July 30th, Governor Newsom issued an executive order on the boy crisis. And I was very interested to read it. What Governor Newsom said actually in front of the release of the executive order, he said, too many young men and boys are suffering in silence, disconnected from community, opportunity, and even their own families. This action is about turning that around. It's about showing every young man that he matters and there's a path for him of purpose, dignity, work, and real connection. The first partner, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, went on to say, women and men face different challenges, but there are systemic barriers we can take on together. Whether it's the shortage of male mental health providers, outdated ideas about care work, or boys falling through the cracks in school, this executive order is a step towards real solutions. Our young men and boys are facing a crisis of loneliness and social isolation that is showing up in their mental health, educational outcomes, future economic opportunities, and more. Raising healthy boys will take all of us, moms, dads, teachers, coaches, and mentors, working together to find new ways forward. In the executive order, they rattled off a number of statistics. Some of them I've mentioned in prior meetings, but it won't take long. I just want to read some of them here. Men account for nearly 80% of all suicides, and young men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide than young women. Men are more likely than women to use all types of illicit drugs, and men are dying of drug overdoses at 2 to 3 times the rate of women. Depression is ranked as a leading cause of death among men, and mental health conditions often go untreated among men because they are far less likely to seek treatment than women. Young men are more disconnected from school, work, and relationships than ever before, with nearly 1 in 4 men under 30. Young men are more disconnected from school, work, relationships, that's repeating itself, relationships than ever before, with nearly 1 in 4 under 30 years old reporting that they have no close friends, a 5-fold increase since 1990, with higher rates of disconnection for young Black males, and a lack of social connection is associated with the increased risk of poor health, including mental health disorders, poverty, and even premature death. Studies show that adolescents who spend more than 3 hours daily on social media face a higher risk of experiencing symptoms of depression and anxiety. And a recent survey found that American teens spend more than 4 hours a day on social media platforms on average each day. Men have higher prevalence of cardiovascular disease and cancer than women. Labor force participation among men without a college degree is at historic lows, with about 1 in 9 men aged 25 to 54 neither working nor looking for work, and the unemployment rate for men in California is higher than the rate for women. College enrollment and completion rates for men have dropped significantly over the past decade, and although they didn't mention it here, the average enrollment rate for women in U.S. colleges is 60%, 40% for males. And then finally, they indicated that the school suspension rate for boys is more than double the rate for girls, with even higher rates for Black and American Indian and Native Alaskan boys. So basically what he is doing in this executive order is trying to empower multiple agencies within the state and working with community organizations to try to find solutions to this boy crisis, which, again, I've been speaking about for 4 or 5 years. I started talking about this just from mere observation. I didn't realize there was a boy crisis until I started observing things on school visits that I've been going on, since with the superintendent, since being on the school board. So in future planning tonight, I'm going to be advocating that the district create a boy crisis task force and to put that on a future agenda for the board's consideration. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Reed. Board member Larry?
Yeah, just short comments tonight. I want to thank Dr. Peace and all her work. That's been a really, really exciting program, and I know she spent so much time on that, and really appreciate all of their efforts for her and her team. I went to back to school night for Cordova High, and it was like standing room only. It was ridiculous. Like, I've never seen that many parents attending. So shout out to the staff for all their efforts on that. And then also wanted to shout out to Williamson and their absolutely wonderful job that they did on hosting us with Superintendent Thurmond and all the work that their team put into that event. It was awesome to be kind of the chosen one to be, the model for the state. And so want to just congratulate everyone's work on that, Scott Meyer and his team for all his efforts on that. But just really great job on the Williamson team, and their students that presented there were darling, and they were so cute and just represented us so well. That's it for me.
All right, thank you. Board Member Lofthouse.
Yeah, I have a short one too. I got to attend the State of Education event in Folsom last week, where Mr. Swanson and Mr. Pimentel from the college got to present, and it was really exciting to see how similar their presentations were, and I don't think they collaborated prior to, but they very much so had the same presentations, and I think that the opportunities that our students are going to have because of that collaboration is really huge and great for our district. So I look forward to the growth in both of the institutions. So, and then also thank you for Dr. Peace for the deeply rooted recognition. As somebody who, from kindergarten through 12th grade, it's always something that comes up on school visits. They're like, wait, you went to Blanche Sprent's too, or things like that. So I think that it really is a conversation point with a lot of students when they get to see people in other places, and when they hear that their teachers went to school. As a middle school teacher at Folsom Middle, I had my middle school yearbooks, and the kids would spend hours looking through them trying to find pictures of me. And so it really is something that ties ties the kids and makes that connectedness huge. I even have Mr. Maroon, who's not here, send me photos he finds of me from middle school during board meetings to give me a laugh. So, but it really is a amazing district, and I think that it's just getting better, and so it's going to be a place that a lot of students want to return. So that's all.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And in closing, congrats to my two colleagues on receiving their deeply rooted awards, and thank you, Dr. Peace, for putting all that together. Kenny's culinary program is up and coming. I mean, it's been around for a while, but these kids are doing their thing, and the food that they provided today was delicious. Superintendent, I have a question for you. Actually, a statement.
Oh.
We are not wearing any Grant jerseys at this meeting. Do you know what that means? That means that we beat Grant. And we will be heading to Twin Rivers, their school board meeting, repping Folsom and making sure that their board president and their superintendent is wearing our gear. So shout outs to Folsom High School. And, you know, the good thing about it, that program is nationally recognized. And it just feels so good to either read something in Sports Illustrated or the commercial I got with our five-star quarterback, Ryder Lyons, in it now. Folsom, Cordova is on the map. And, you know, this football program is phenomenal. And I know that Cordova's going to get there in a couple of years, and Vista's going to get there in a couple of years. So if you guys know me, I'm all about sports, especially this district sports program. I know Cordova has a bye this week. I know Vista is at home playing Granite Bay, and Folsom is down in LA with another tough game against Mission Viejo. So let's root on our teams. Also, let's root on our girls' flag football. I usually watch a few YouTube clips of those girls playing, and they can ball. So I'm going to have to get out there and support them. But other than that, I just want to thank Sean for your incredible work this evening. Our facilities team, thank you. And welcome to the family. We look forward to working with you. And other than that, I don't have anything else except we can go into advanced planning.
So our next board meeting is 2 weeks from today on the 18th of September. Announce that. And then we have the 12-month board calendar. And then we'll get to suggested future agenda items.
All right. Looking at the suggested future agenda items, I believe Board Member Reed wanted to add something to that.
Yes, I'd love for the board to consider on a future agenda the creation of a boy crisis task force. Not a permanent committee, but a temporary committee to look into the issue and see what we can do, maybe in partnership with the governor and his initiatives, to find solutions to the boy crisis in our district.
Okay, and I will definitely tap in with CSBA in a couple of weeks to kind of bring that subject matter up to them. It's a possibility that we may want to partner as well.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yep. So any other future agenda items?
Is there consensus of the board?
Yes, is there a consensus with the board? All right, we'll move forward with that. Any other future agenda items?
I know in the past, David asked for honorary math honors program for discussion. If it is already in the pipeline of our meetings, then
I think it's coming up, isn't it?
It is coming up.
Yep, I believe it's listed. I think we have to scroll up a little bit, Martha. Honors Math, October 16th.
All right, any other? Hearing none, There is no need to recess back into closed session. So anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, we will officially adjourn this meeting.